Cynics on Disney podcast contains adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
This is the Cynics on Disney podcast, presented by Nightclub33.com.
Welcome into this week's episode of the Cynics on Disney podcast. I am your host, Bobby, aka the Disney Cynic.
And I'm Amanda, aka the Anti-Cynic.
And today, well, we haven't done shit. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. Okay, it's been the holidays.
We've traveled like crazy.
Yeah, we've traveled for the holidays. We've done shopping because I'm at war with literally. Do you think my war with Disney's bad? Just wait. I won't talk about it on here. I have other wars. Oh, I have other wars.
There's others.
So I like this holiday season. I feel like that forced us to get out more a little bit. And I think that was a good thing.
Until it was 7 p.m. on Christmas Eve, and we still had like what, 6 people to buy for?
Hold on. What we ended up doing was awesome. So let's not.
What we did was awesome.
Yeah, anyway, we don't need to. My point is that because I'm at war with a bunch of different crap that would just normally ship stuff. Well, that for lack of a better phrase, I didn't have time to do just yet another holiday special. I wanted to do like a really big time one with like performances and musical numbers and whatnot. Like one of the old timey ones. I don't know why. I've always wanted to do like one like that.
Maybe this year.
Maybe that's that. Yeah, that would be fun. We'll put together a plan. We'll start planning for this at some point. Be prepared, Steve. It's going to be a wild ride in 2025. Yeah. Speaking of the new year, still are not annual pass holders.
Nope.
There may come a time when we kind of get the itch. And if we do get the itch, I think we're going to do the 4-day ticket.
Like we did when we first moved here.
Yeah, because it just seems like a better option for us right now. Maybe it'll make us travel to Disney instead of experience it like we had been experiencing, which is just like roll out of bed. If we get there, we get there.
Yeah.
Maybe us putting forth a little bit more effort into our park going experience will make us appreciate it more. I don't know.
We'll see.
But that's not coming in the next couple of weeks. I don't think. For one, it's just been busy down here.
Yes. It has been so busy.
Like I was open to the idea of doing Christmas shopping at Disney Springs, but
nope.
Like every single time that I even went close to down that way, like the traffic was just awful.
Well, and not only that, but we're about to have, in the mornings it's been a little colder than we like, but we're about to have a cold snap this week.
The nation as a whole, not just Florida.
No, but you have to understand, for Floridians, like this is like to the point where I've seen, like I even saw like a People magazine headline was like, "Ooh, could Disney World see snow for the first time in like 50 years?" And it's like,
I don't know, but it could see falling iguanas if it's not fucking careful. That's all I'm saying.
That's gonna happen in South Florida because it's gonna get cold enough, I believe. But yeah. We're not too concerned about snow. It's the iguanas. I don't want them hitting my head.
They also don't sell an iguana shovel at Home Depot.
Yeah,
nor is there an iguana blower.
Right.
That would be an interesting contraption, to say the least. But nonetheless, we press on here with our winter woes and whatnot. And yeah, it's just been too cold. So, because I've been gurgling and everything like that, I've just not felt compelled to drag myself down there. It used to be that I would force myself to get down there and do a dining review or something, but not today. It's too cold. It's too peoply outside. So instead...
And we're tired.
Yeah, we are. God, it's just been a lot. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to answer the dumbest questions that we could have possibly found on Facebook. Now, we did have to use the caveat that it had to be about Disney World. So we looked through a couple different Facebook groups and we've come up with a list of a few questions here. Most of them I don't know. And so that you can get my pure reaction to them. And we're hoping that the exasperation level becomes exponential later into the episode if we could graph it.
Yeah.
That would be lovely.
Steve, can you do
but
that for us, please? Thank you.
There we go. So if you want to do the graphing thing, there you go. So Amanda, I would like for you to be the ombudsman of this this episode. And you may, of course, chime in with your own opinions and whatnot, but
Sure.
let's just get the pure and guttural reaction of the guy that's calling himself the Disney Cynic, shall we?
Okay. All right,
let's do this.
I'm going to start with one that I thought was just the dumbest of the dumb. Like, right out the gate.
Okay.
When we booked a month ago for late January, the Hall of Presidents was supposed to be open. Now they're saying it will be closed. What do they do in this situation?
Fucking fix the attraction, lady. Well, what do you want from me? They close it down. You don't get to see it. If you want to see it, you can come back. Or you can do what so many other fucking Disney nut jobs have done, myself included. I'm not judging. I'm just calling us what we are. Watch the attraction video on YouTube. They have 4K renderings of this shit. Like, I'm pretty sure some of these people have like the Apple Vision Quest things of the Hall of Presidents. You have multiple options in this day and age of experiencing one of the worst possible attractions at Walt Disney World. And you're asking the internet for help.
I will say the comments on that particular question were not nice. Like,
were they vicious?
They were a little vicious. I mean, because it's you know, what do they do? What do you mean? What do they do? The ride, you can't experience it. The ride's closed. Also, Hall of Presidents famously closes like after an election if the incumbent has not been reelected in order to make changes.
I mean, listen, I do feel like this one should be like the easiest one though. Like it should just be like somebody switch who's got the tape, the old tape of Donald Trump. Let's stick that in there.
I mean, but
that's all it should be.
It's probably going to be closed for a day or two. I have it should not be a long thing. I haven't looked to see when the closing dates, you know, like what the dates are for this, but I have to assume because we are bringing back in a president we've already had, but it's not a long refurb.
All right, so this is strictly a Disney thing. Strictly Disney. It's my understanding we've all seen the President Trump animatronic at the Hall of Presidents, right?
Yeah. They had to.
It's not flattering. Say what you will about it. It's not flattering. That's the kindest way that I think I can put it, right? From what I have understood, there seems to be an impression that a lot of the tech folk and a lot of the media folk are starting to kiss the ring, so to speak, when it comes to the incoming 47th president. And I don't know. I kind of feel like the biggest mea culpa that Disney could do would be to fix that fucking animatronic, right?
I mean, and maybe that's what they're gonna do. Maybe they are gonna like rehaul the. I don't know. I haven't looked to see.
I mean, it's clearly the worst animatronic of them all, right?
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not like they didn't. I mean, they they took the same amount of time. I'm not going to say they put forth the same effort as they did with other animatronics. I'm just going to say they took the same amount of time to complete the project as before. So I'm just saying that would be the biggest one. So
yeah.
Amanda, next question, please.
Okay. Also, before I get to the next question, I was trying to find like anything about it being closed on Google and like immediately Hall of Presidents full show on YouTube is like pops up. So
Just do that, lady. That's all you have to do.
That. If you really, really want to see the Hall of Presidents, like if that is like your top, tier attraction, then yes. Also, I just found it. If you go to the Hall of Presidents page on Disney World's website, it does say that it will temporarily close for refurbishment on January 20th, and it is expected to reopen later in 2025.
There you go.
All right. So, next question.
Let's do this.
Just got my souvenir cup with the Disney dining plan, but was told the cups are only refillable at resorts, not any of the parks, unless you get ice and water. So these cups cannot be used for soda or other beverages at the parks?
I think that's a stupid rule. And the reason why I think this is a very stupid rule is because basically I'm paying for those people to get that free soda.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I used to work at a restaurant. I know kind of what the cost-ish, at least 15 years ago, of Coke products. And I know what we sold them for. Mm-hmm. I mean, the shit's basically just pure profit.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you are given free soda at the resorts, I feel like it should be extended throughout Disney property.
Right, because many people don't use that cup. Like once you refill it, maybe, before you leave.
They know this.
Yeah, like you're not getting it. You're not getting a ton of free sodas with it because you're not at the resort.
They make it so that you have to go back to the center of the resort to go refill the mug too. They don't give you a lot of convenient stations for you to fill that mug up. This is why I think those things are, unless you're just looking for like a collectible of some kind or a keepsake, I think those things are just, like really not worth it.
I also remember when like they kind of, I think when they started that whole souvenir cup thing, and like every year the cup was different.
It was resort specific too.
And it was resort specific. And so it was a collectible because you were getting it from the resort. You were getting, if you went, multiple years, you got a different design on the cup. Now it's been the same design forever and it's not resort specific anymore. You only need to get one. Like after you get the first,
you can't mass produce the cups like that with the RFID chips that only work when you're on site, unless you make the generic and bland ones. And I get that. This is where my contention, I think, with a lot of the recent updates to Disney that has come in. Tough. I don't care that it's hard to mass produce and fit.
Maybe
don't, because
we don't need but maybe we don't need that chip in the cup anyway.
Right. Maybe you just, I don't know, say, man, a company can realize that you're charging us $5 for a soda elsewhere and $8 at the cake bake shop. Just saying. So, flaking. Yes. There's my
I think also my favorite part of this is like, the cast members told you, and yet you still come to Facebook.
So I get this mindset, sort of. But the problem is that we're all really bad at communicating, myself included sometimes. What that person was really asking for is, how do I get around this?
Yeah.
And
you don't.
They didn't ask that question. They asked, is this true? As in like, hey, like wink, wink. And that kind of thing doesn't come through in text. So let's maybe not
Well,
ask the question that way.
I also
maybe instead.
think in this particular group, one of the rules is you can't ask questions on how to like break the rules. So you have to like,
okay. So go to one of the Wild West ones. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's 1,000 other.
But this is also kind of what gets me. If cast members are telling you one thing, don't
just believe it.
Believe it. Like, as a former cast member, we do know what we're talking about.
and until you know for certain that your workaround is a guaranteed thing,
yeah,
like you keep that workaround to yourself, right? Like you don't share that if you actually know how to get the free. I knew how to get free soda out of that fucking company, I would not stop going there at every turn.
Right. Also, this is how things like DAS pass get taken away because so many people flaunted the fact that they knew how to abuse the system and work around it, that Disney was like, all right, fine, you just don't have it anymore. So if you do know workarounds, don't share them.
I don't mind sharing strategy. I don't mind sharing my thoughts and reviews on those kinds of things. But if I had like a genuine park hack, that was getting me around lines, or was getting me around anything like that was costing me money,
that on the internet.
Hell no, because then the first thing that happens is it goes away and it's my fault.
Right.
Manda.
Yeah.
I think it's time for our next question.
All right. Question number 3. How likely is it to get your stuff stolen from a stroller at Disney?
Pretty goddamn.
Yep.
I am not saying that I have personal experience being either the perpetrator or the victim. But if you leave your shit unattended, be it your phone, be it anything, it will disappear very quickly, no matter where you are. There is always somebody who's going to go, and pick it up. Whether that's a kid who's being innocent, by the way, or an actual like hardened criminal. I like, don't leave your stuff unattended. Like, be your own security force. This isn't this isn't rocket science, guys. Like, just don't leave shit unattended.
You're in a place with thousands of other people. And I mean, it can be even an accidental thing. Like if someone has the same stroller as you,
right,
and they're just like, grabbing a stroller, that kind of thing. But
I realize that we're off to a fantasy land when we go into those theme parks, but like the reality of the situation does not like escape the fact that it's fantasy land. Like you still have people in there who will do wrong. And even if they're not trying to do wrong, even if they're not meaning to, like, accidents happen, like we say. We're not just presuming maliciousness on every single account. But at the same time, there's also some assholes out there. So don't be an idiot and leave your shit unattended. It's that simple.
Right. Okay. I don't think I shared this question with you earlier.
Good.
And this one's a doozy.
All right.
I'm going to kind of paraphrase it. Okay? Or at least the background information that they give, I'm going to paraphrase. Basically, they were saying, they did start this off by saying this is probably an odd question. So I will give them that. Some background information that they give is that at home, they are very strict on no shoes in the house. And they usually stay off property when they go on vacation. I'm assuming to Disney, but they didn't specify. So they don't worry about that. They don't have to worry about housekeeping in that regard. However, for this trip, they're staying on property. And they heard about, housekeeping coming in. And then also, the fact that...
Or not coming in, depending on the situation.
Also, the fact that, they may need towels, and things like that. Refreshed or whatever, new towels and such. They wanted to know if there was a way they could decline mousekeeping for their entire stay. There is. That one there is, I believe.
Decline it? Yes.
Yes, decline mousekeeping. Mousekeeping. However, not the security checks. But the second part of the question was, can we ask them to take their shoes off before they come into the room? Because they have little children and they want the children and they want to feel comfortable where they're staying at for the whole week. So they wanted to know if they could ask housekeeping or any other cast member they could take shoes off before they come in their particular room.
I hate people. I hate people so much. You can't just be a normal fucking person and just let the guy who you don't want in there in the first place to just do his job, make it awkward and walk out. You have to make him take his shoes off too.
Well,
and then on top of that, hold on, allow me. Okay. Lady who I'm assuming is doing this for a TikTok thing so she can try to monetize it somehow because she's bored at home and she's sick and tired spending her husband's money on the Stanley Cups. Listen, fucking get over yourself. Relax. You don't have to be a thunder bitch on vacation. You can just let kids be kids. You can take their shoes off or not take their shoes off. I might even suggest leaving their shoes on because God knows when the last time some of those mouse keepers, by the way, vacuumed in there. So quit being a crazy person and asking the dumbest fucking question on the internet about shoes and the security check guy. How about just being a normal person and not being a psychopath? Let's do that instead.
This was another one where the comments were not kind. As people pointed out, and as you just pointed out, they vacuum. There is no like deep cleaning. There isn't, between guests. So those carpets are not, if you have little kids, no. Also, somebody did suggest bring slippers if you're that concerned about wearing your shoes in the room. But as someone else pointed out in regards to asking cast members to take off their shoes, the cast members are at work and shoes are required for safety. Like they don't wear just any type of shoe. We were told as cast members what shoes we had to get. They were provided to us specifically for whatever position that we were in. And they are not attractive shoes. They are not. But they're work shoes and they are there for safety. So no, they're at work. Can you take your shoes off at work?
Yes, but that's because I have an office.
Right, you have but you know what I mean. Like, would you go in, would you ask a fast food employee to take their shoes off? Or would you
genuinely prefer that they leave them on?
Right. So, no, don't ask cast members who are at work to take their shoes off.
This is the kind of nonsense that it used to be shamed in public but it was done in like the community center. Like it was done amongst the women talking amongst themselves at a church gathering or something like that before the internet. Now they don't really do that anymore. Instead, they turn to Facebook and ask dumbass questions like this. And, you know what? If there's ever a thought, ask your mom first. Just ask your mom first.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Amanda.
I have another. You want some more?
Question.
So,
sure.
So this one, it's Disney related, but it's more about technology. Okay. Specifically when it comes to AirTags. Okay. They're wanting to know how reliable an AirTag is if a child gets lost and they are too far from, their phone, whoever's phone has the stuff, and then they, to be located, and then they wanted to know if it pings off of other people's phones.
Okay. That sounds like a question for a genius, and you're asking the internet.
That's an Apple question, not Facebook.
Here's what I'll say, just because I'm not a genius when it comes to this, although I am very much in the bag when it comes to Mac and Apple products and all that stuff. The AirTag is not something that I've personally invested in, although I do know people who have and use it as a means to just keep something of a tag on their dog. I think that's a great idea. And also, I find it weird that you're treating your child like, family that I have treats their dog. But yeah, you go right ahead and work on it. Judging by Apple's annoying little habit of reminding me that I left my iPad behind at home every day on my way to work, I think that their technology works when it comes to the whole locator thing. But this is just anecdotal, not hard tech evidence, so I wouldn't take that advice.
I'm also going to assume serious. It does not ping off of other people's phones. So
I don't know.
I don't know. But again, this is a question for Apple, not Facebook.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway. Next question. Somebody wanted to know the best way to enter Epcot from the International Gateway at park opening when they're staying at All Star Sports because they want to rope drop Rimmy's.
Okay.
There's not.
I don't know. No, there's one way.
It's gonna be a long ass way.
No, it's called a minivan, and you're gonna have to spend money to do it. If you want to go anywhere on property, it will cost you money if you want to go there directly.
Yeah.
That's what the minivan was designed to be. Yep. Okay. You bitched about how I don't want to do internal busing and I want to go straight from my door to the Magic Kingdom and blah, blah, blah. You got it. It's called the minivan. Use it. If you want to get to Remy's and rope drop it, just take the minivan to the beach club. There you go. That's the easiest way to do it. But if we're it's
gonna cost you money,
it's really frustrating that you don't just look at the very simple thing of, oh, the service that they already provide, it's right fucking there on the app. So there you go. Man, just there. Okay.
So there you go. Minivan if you want to go direct.
Do you have any other thoughts or?
No, that's pretty much it. If you were looking for the free way to do it, there's not.
There's not. No.
Not from All Star Sports. Nope.
No. In fact, the closest thing, no, there is not a free way to do it.
Nope, there's not.
You would have to get a reservation for breakfast over at Beach Club otherwise. So that's why the minivan is cheaper.
Yeah. Yep.
Because trust me, you do not want the beaches, or not beaches and cream. What is it? Cape May Cafe.
Cape May.
Yeah. It's not a great breakfast.
Okay. This is another one where information was given to this person via a website, and then they still came and questioned it. Basically, as we all know, starting in February, that means that cheer and dance season is about to be upon us here in Orlando.
Oh,
it's a lovely time of year. Please note the sarcasm that is in my voice, because it's not a lovely time of year. But basically this doesn't, it's, if you're going over to Wide World of Sports, then yeah, this is going to be crazy. It's also going to be crazy if you're staying at All-Star resorts, any of the All-Star resorts. And it will get crazy in the parks. So there you go.
I would say the biggest concern is the parks, but also for some people who stay off property. Because someone like the Gaylord Palm would put on this thing too, and just do it in their convention space, but that will lead to increased foot traffic at the park. So you might not notice it at the resort, but you will when you're on Tower of Terror and you're surrounded by an entire cheerleading squad, and oh my God, they scream at the broken window.
Don't worry. You're also, if you're staying at the All Stars any of them, specifically sports, because I have stayed at the sports during one of these things. Oh my God, you will notice it. Okay, because you will walk out and there will be cheerleaders doing stuff, just practicing their stunts on the lawn, and it's all over the place. Anyway, the question was, they even like screenshotted the calendar here, so we have proof that the calendar says this. Okay. Does anyone know if there will be a cheer/dance competition February 28th through March 2nd, like this site says? I can't confirm it anywhere else. And they're freaking out because they think their trip's now going to be super busy because of it. If a site,
lady, it's gonna be fucking busy.
It's gonna be busy.
Hold on. Let me just go and solve this equation and square this circle real quick. Doesn't matter what the circumstance is. Whenever you come down here, there's no longer a time that is a downtime anymore. They've designed it that way. The closest is September. Because all the kids have to go back to school then, and most parents are still not willing to take their kids out of school in that first couple weeks.
Yeah.
That's the closest that there is to an off season at Disney World. Any other time that is down here, it doesn't matter. Even if the crowd volume is low, they lower the amount of ride capacity and cast members to match. So it always feels busy. So you always have to buy the lightning lane stuff. You're not understanding this. They're going to get you every time. So it doesn't matter. Just accept that it's always busy.
Also, I would like to note that February 28th falls on a Friday. So this means a weekend, which means locals will be there. In addition to the tourists. So just also keep that in mind. If it's a weekend, it's automatically going to be busier anyway, because you got locals.
And it's during the farts festival.
Yep, it is Festival of the Arts will have started. I did have a couple more that I found.
Is there any more of those questions that are like, oh, is it going to be busy when? Yes. The answer is always
no. However, I'm going to save my favorite one for last.
Okay.
But I have two more. All right. So here's, got some first time pass holders. Okay. They have a reservation for Epcot, but they don't want to go to Epcot. They want to go to Hollywood Studios instead. So their plan is to park at Hollywood Studios, skyline over to Epcot, scan in at Epcot, and then immediately turn around and leave and go back to Hollywood Studios.
Sure.
And they wanted advice and if people think that this will work.
It will work, technically.
It's just a lot of trouble. Can't you just, easiest
thing
reservation is to switch the reservation.
I would suggest making a phone call instead of doing, the Rube Goldberg trip around the Crescent Lake area. Yeah. That's what I would suggest. But if you want to do that adventure, you do you, man. Sure, fuck it. Why not? Listen, to be fair, we've done the whole let's just do the Disney travel for the sake of it thing before.
Yeah.
So like there's enjoyment to be had. In fact, that's how we first saw Riviera and the Skyliner. We parked over at Disney Springs.
Yeah.
And ended up just kind of bussing over to Boardwalk and getting in.
Yeah.
And instead, our return trip was we went back on the Skyliner over to Riviera and then hopped on a bus to Disney Springs, which that's when we learned that the bus system over there fucking sucks. So, because buses do not run very, very often there because, oh, look, this pretty little dangly bucket thing that's going to get struck by lightning. I'm not neurotic about that at all.
So yes, it will work. It will take time, because it's not just a straight shot from Epcot to Hollywood Studios on the Sky Buckets. On
I
the
would say the
Skyliner, I should
boat
say.
would
The
be
boat would
better
probably be the boat or walk if you really want to walk it.
No,
Because you
I
can
I can tell
also.
you right now.
I have walked that one time, and I will never walk that again. But the boat would probably be the easier and quickest way to do that, rather than the Skyliner. But yeah.
That's but people
Alright.
don't want to do it that way anymore. I would just say that. And I kind of get it to a degree, because if they're going to Disney, they want to do the magical transportation, be that a ferry boat, be that a Skyliner, be that a monorail, whatever it is. They want to have that kind of transformative moment. So I'm not surprised that they would just like figure out a way to make it difficult on themselves, so to speak, because that might get them in the mood to go to the park a little bit more. I certainly think it would, so for me in some
Yeah.
circumstances.
Yeah. Alright. Last question that I have.
Okay.
This one's probably my favorite. And I had thoughts on this one too. Do travel agents price match undercover tourist prices for stays at the resort?
You know what? You go ahead. Just go ahead and explain the travel agent side of this shit, and then
Okay.
I'm going to correct her in her internet skill usage. Just go ahead.
All right. So first of all, with undercover tourist, I have heard about them. I've never used them. It seems a little too good to be true. On things, they claim that they can get you tickets to the theme parks for less than what you would pay at the gate. I'm not quite sure how they're doing that.
Timeshares.
Yeah,
Timeshares.
okay, then that's how they're doing it. Um,
Presentation.
but it's not worth it for that. However, on the travel agent side of things, I was for a brief time a travel agent that specialized in Disney travel. Why are you laughing at that?
Because I remember that, like, when you were taking the test for it or whatever, and like you were doing a practice test, and I was drunk or something like that, and I remember getting like all these questions right and stuff.
Yeah, I know. Because we've done this forever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So that means you too can be a Disney travel agent.
Yeah,
it's it's a matter of paperwork.
It is. Anyway. With travel agents, most travel agencies now anyway, you probably won't be charged. I know the one I worked for, we did not charge people extra for our services. Our services were free. Little known fact, any commission that travel agents get is already built into the price that you pay at the parks. Whether you use a travel agent or book it yourself, you're paying the same price because Disney already builds in their commission for travel agents into the price.
Yes, that is important to note. We're all paying an extra 10% to float an entire industry of people who are just Disney super fans and have nothing better to do with themselves, with their time, I guess. We're all doing it. With our tickets, with our hotels, with all of it,
everything,
with all
the
these
price,
packages, all of it. We're all paying for it.
And it's not just Disney either. I mean, now, it did not matter.
The other side of the coin here is all of the other vacations that are booked directly with Disney are an extra 10% profit for that company.
Yep.
Or it's a missed opportunity for anybody who is an entrepreneur.
There
it is. Entrepreneur. Why am I struggling to say that?
I don't know. It's usually me struggling with the word.
I know. Especially a word revolving around
like all the R's.
Capitalism.
Well, for me,
capitalism and economics. It's
right.
me.
I usually struggle with anything that has a multitude of R's in it.
If you have the entrepreneurial spirit, there
you go.
You seriously, you can actually make some money. You have
Yeah.
to understand though that here's what travel agents are. It's a long-term game. It's like selling insurance. And I don't mean that in a bad way necessarily. We know insurance people. Like
Mhm.
it's a very stable career once you build a book of business. But until you build that book of business,
It's
it's basically you're working for free and you're
Yeah.
doing a lot of stuff because you don't get paid until after,
after the
especially if
vacation.
you
Yeah.
yeah, and not just that, until after that particular travel agency, unless you start your own, gets paid out.
Right.
And you don't get the full commission. The agency
Gets
gets
part
to
of it.
keep a percentage of that. So there there is an understanding that should be had for anybody who tries to get into this kind of thing. It's not just planning vacations for your friends and having a good time. You're not going to make money immediately, and it's a lot of work.
It is.
I
It is
know
a lot of
this
work.
I know this factually. Why? Because I watched that one do it.
Yep. Yep. It is a lot of work. And it was a lot of work while having a full-time job and going to grad school. Hence why I don't do it anymore, because
And
something had
listen,
to give.
and by the way, it's not like she was pounding the pavement, trying to find clients and all this
No,
stuff.
I had my
She was
family booking.
basically
Yeah.
doing like a vacation for her family and like a couple of other people, and that's about it.
Yeah. But then my
So,
family decided to take a lot of vacations. So um
well, that helped.
but
But
again,
still,
it is also one of those, like you said, travel agents don't get paid until after the client's vacation has ended. So if
but
you're
think of it this
booking
way: you could book a client a year or meet a client a year from when
Yeah.
they actually go,
Go.
and you're still not paid.
Right.
Because
Right.
they'll want to tell you all their details and all their wants for the trip and
Yep.
everything like that so that you can get it booked and all of that. Like you have to have that meeting set up before the 11
Yeah.
month window, and like an 11-month window is like the earliest possible time for
Yep.
any booking of any kind.
Yep.
So understand that like it is a long term
Long term.
commitment that
Um
is ultimately it's not a tremendous amount of money either, unless you are able to build up that book and are
yeah.
able to do it efficiently. You know,
Yeah. Um but yeah, to answer the original question, no. Travel agents are not going to price match undercover tourists, because travel agents are paid directly by Disney, by Universal, by whoever. And it's not like some special, like you're getting the same price as you would if you did use a travel agent. But again, undercover tourist, that just seems a little shady to me. Um eh,
I've known
just
people who've had success. I've also known people who haven't. We're not disparaging anyone in particular or any of these. I will, you know what? I take that back. I will disparage anybody who has like one of those roadside gift shops that used to sponsor us back in the early days of this podcast. Like those people are absolutely just like trying to lure you in. They are
yeah.
predators, trying to prey upon the cheapness in all of us, to be honest with you. Because God
Yeah.
knows if I could get half off Disney tickets, okay, maybe I can tolerate the parks a little bit more. That kind of, which is, by the way, the only reason why I'm considering the Florida one,
Yeah.
because it's basically what that is. But I'm not gonna buy that from some guy in a shack, and that's kind of out back, and he hands you a couple magic bands, and you hand him cash. That's how that
Yeah.
stuff works.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't do those.
Yeah. Don't go to one of the no. It is those are super super shady. The actual like gift shops. If you see it anything on the roadside that's like Disney tickets for like $65, no. Because
Or
what is Go ahead, I'm sorry.
or just Disney tickets, I would say.
Yeah.
If they're trying to sell you tickets, no,
Please
don't.
understand that it was because of things like that Disney implemented the fingerprint that you have to do now. Um, to make sure that the ticket you're using is actually yours. I think part of the reason why
They've
the
been
Magic
doing that
Band,
for
right? No,
they've been
but
doing that one for years, to be fair.
and they started that because you had all of these roadside things that what they would do is if you had bought like a multi-day pass and didn't use all of the tickets, you could sell them back to these other companies and they would then sell resell those.
Yeah,
That's what was
you know what
happening.
one of them was called? The Super Duper Pass. Not kidding. Not kidding at all. It was called the Super Duper Pass. Well, I think it was spelled super duper, but still,
Yeah.
that's what the guy who was in the family preview video, like,
Mhm.
that's how you pronounce it. It was fantastic. It's just, it's
But
one of those,
that's
it's one of those Disney history reels,
yeah.
or like, go look it up on YouTube. It's fantastic.
That's why Disney implemented the fingerprint, because people were going to these gift shops and like ticket centers or whatever and buying them at ridiculously low prices because they were using other people's tickets.
So here's my message to her and so many other people who are in these, groups, who are trying to game the system. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You are doing nothing but making my life and everyone else's lives all the more difficult.
Right.
You are. I don't have a problem with you trying to save money. Disney allows for you to try to save money here and there. Like they let you bring some snacks in, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're not going to let you bring a full cooler in, but they'll let you bring some snacks in and stuff.
Yeah.
They'll have discounted rates and so on and so forth. Although to call them
Mm-hmm.
discount is kind of adorable. Don't get me wrong. It's what the maximum rate really should be, but whatever, it's fine. But when you guys game the system, what you do is you make it more exclusionary and more discerning later on. This is what happened with the DAS system, and it's affected multiple people in my life. Not one of them being my dad, another one being a dear friend of mine who she's not really able to do the whole Disney thing without uh, really being able to utilize that kind of service. Well,
Right.
guess what? People abused it.
Yeah.
And now those people in my life who I care about, they don't have access to it anymore. Now, I'm all for sharing strategies, like I said. I'm all for trying to help save a couple bucks. Hell, I hate that Disney charges
Yeah.
this much. But the truth of the matter is, the way that they're going to make up for it is by overcharging on all this other crap that you don't want to pay for.
Yeah.
Or even worse, they start losing money out on things like resale tickets, so on and so forth. Whatever perk that was in there, that like no expiration ticket, suddenly it goes away.
Yeah.
And like, I like the perks part. That's the part that makes it valuable.
Yeah.
So when you both take away the perk and make it more expensive, all it does is make me more frustrated as a customer who's legit just trying to buy things straight through the company.
Yeah.
I'm not going to Mouse Savers every time.
Right.
I'm not doing the DVC points thing even every time, although I should. I've booked
Yeah.
cash nights at Disney. Plenty.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm opposed to Disney making money. I'm opposed to them overcharging. And now if I'm gonna shame the company, I might as well shame everybody else in these groups for trying to game the system.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The house always wins in Vegas, and Disney is always going to win on us.
Yep.
They are. But by encouraging them to tighten that system, you are making my life miserable.
Yeah.
So please stop.
Yep. I agree. I agree. And unfortunately, social media has made it to where That's part of the reason why, because people get on, and we mentioned it earlier, people figure out some way to hack, some sort of hack.
God, one of the earliest episodes that we brought Steve on, we even talked about, like, that was the first time that we really started to do the news too, early on in the show. And that was when we first talked about, like, the TikTok girl,
Yeah.
who, wore too revealing of clothing
Yeah.
and then decided to do it again because she got a free t-shirt out of it.
Yeah.
Recorded herself, spread it to the world. Okay, sweetie, not everybody needs to know that one.
Nope.
Okay, you shouldn't be doing that in the first place. That's called theft.
Mhm.
And, like, you should have, like, a moral imperative not to steal at that
Yeah.
point. That should be your thing. But also, now you've had the price of t-shirts jump up because a
Yep.
bunch of people tried to pull this shit off.
Yeah.
And to Disney's point, they kind of had to do it or then change the policy as soon as possible
Mhm.
because they couldn't have a bunch of, half naked women running around the parks.
Right. And
So stop doing that.
yeah.
Please continue.
Well, in regards to the whole, dress code thing, a lot of people like to, just, oh, it's, indeed. No, it's not. The dress code, they will really dress code you, not necessarily whether or not they deem your outfit inappropriate. It's more safety. I think that particular girl, like, her shirt is one that tied on, and, like, there was, like, no straps or anything else holding it. So if she were to get on a ride and something happened on that ride, she could get stuck and potentially lose her shirt
Well,
on the ride.
she definitely could have lost her shirt.
That is a safety thing, and Disney is very, very, very serious when it comes to guest safety.
I would also note that it's okay for them to be, like, very, very serious when it comes to not allowing people to run around half nude. Like,
Right. It's a family park.
This is a family park still. As much as we've ruined it with our Epcot or drinking around the world and so on and so forth, like, it is still a family place. So no, this is not
Yeah.
the place to dress like that. Like,
Right.
I am all for you dressing like that elsewhere, just not
Mhm.
there. That's all.
Yeah.
Let's just have the one enclave. This is so funny to me. I'm always begging for, like, the one, like, enclave where we can just have, like, basically the purge and, like, have it just be an anarchy.
Yeah.
City, and just, like, whatever happens.
Yeah.
Like, just see what's what, but also, can we also have this one little enclave of maybe you don't act like that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
I'm gonna go back to the undercover tourist thing for just a moment, because I wanted to check something out here.
I'm glad it gave you time to research.
Yeah. So I just looked just to see. Okay. They are not always the cheapest, by the way. So undercover tourist right now, if I went and bought 2 one-day Magic Kingdom theme park base tickets, so one day, no park hopper, okay, for January 18th, through Undercover Tourist, it would be $388.96.
Jesus Christ.
If I book it directly with Disney, we're looking at about $370. Same ticket, same date. But they want it, but I bring this up because, undercover tourists, like, oh, you can save.
They may not be the shacks
Right.
on the side of the road that make you sit through
Do your
the
research.
timeshare.
Do your research. Do your research.
All right. One final question. This was submitted to me by my cousin. And actually it wasn't solicited. She just sent this to me. Because she just thought these people were ridiculous. Of course, this was a anonymous participant, because
so many of them are.
Oh yeah. What kind of toilet paper is at the resorts?
Jesus.
Can I request a soft kind I don't want the thin stuff that tears and ends up getting poo all over me. Anonymous participant. I'm presuming lady. Although it's 2024. You never know. 2025, excuse
me. Yeah.
If you are that concerned about wiping your ass, like, just bring your own. Bring your own. Be the weirdo that brings your own toilet paper. And by the way, you're not going to be the weirdest person at Disney if you bring your own toilet paper. I'll just go ahead and say it. In fact, you might be one of the more sane people as far as I'm concerned. Have you seen some of the batshit crazy that have walked through those gates? Have you? Having a roll of toilet paper on you because you are concerned about the rigidity and effectiveness of said toilet paper. I get it. I've seen those blue dye commercials.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
So I understand. But it's Disney, and while yes, that once was known as a company with where it stood for quality and so on and so forth, I think you can expect Disney to have the same quality as the quality in these days. And that's going to be inclusive of their very single ply toilet paper shown throughout the entirety of that resort complex.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
You're going to get shit everywhere. Just poop everywhere. I don't know why I had to say it that way.
Okay. Just, yeah. And also, I mean, I'm moving on from that part. Just also, if you're bringing your own toilet paper to your resort, no one's going to know.
You can actually have it delivered there.
You can.
Via Amazon. Just
get it.
You can do that.
Bring your own toilet paper.
How's that?
But no, you cannot ask them, because guess what? They don't have any other kind of toilet paper. The only toilet paper.
I realized that this was an anonymous participant in the first place, but here's the thing. Shame is a good thing in some circumstances. This is one of those times that you should have had to put your name to this kind of question so that you can realize, if you are afraid to ask the kind of question that you are asking, that you feel the need to click on anonymous participant, A, go to Reddit, or B, don't ask the question. That's probably how it should go. Amanda, hey, are we on social media still?
Kind of.
All right. I mean, where would they find us?
Okay. We have accounts.
Where would they find us?
You can find us on Facebook and that site formerly known as Twitter at Cynical Disney. You can find us everywhere else: Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Pinterest. I think that's it. You can find us all on those at Cynics on Disney.
No Blue Sky yet, huh?
No, I don't even know what that is.
It's the new alternate version of Twitter, I guess, from what I understand.
And then that's all you, because I don't do Twitter.
I'm not anyway, no. Instead, guys, thank you so much for watching. We genuinely appreciate it. Please like and subscribe to this here channel, really, and make sure that you leave a comment down below. That doing so will help get us out into the algorithm and visible to more viewers and everything like that. Certainly we could use the exposure, guys, and really, because it's a video podcast, I don't want to expose myself in any other way. But until next time, guys, I hope you kind of like this. This is something a little bit different for us. We are probably not going to be doing an immediate review here for the next couple of shows here, just because, you know what? We haven't done anything. Being honest about it, it's cold. The country's about to go into a cold snap, and really, like, I'm still grumpy. I'm still grumps.
And our money's going to fish right now. So.
Right. That too. But we won't share that hobby here. So until next time, guys, have yourselves a magical fucking day.